make sure it's still down. Hold on.
Well, I hope it is because we're live now. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so I'm glad we got a chuckle this morning because we got some grim news to cover this morning.
Hold
4chan.
on. I'm just verifying that it's still down, so we don't look absolutely retarded.
Here's
And
doing the confirmation.
yeah, it looks like it's not loading. So yeah, okay, proceed.
I did in fact check before we went live. So yeah, 4chan is down. Let's start by a lot of my audience is a little older, may not be familiar with 4chan, and that's understandable. That's somewhat reasonable. For those of us that are a little older and remember when the internet made the ding 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 noise, well, let's talk about what 4chan is, because I grew up on bulletin boards and message boards. Shit, I used to play Lord, Legend of the Red Dragon, flipping text based multiplayer BBS, that's bulletin board system video game. And I was even briefly for like 6 months or a year, I was a co-sysop systems operator for uh, a little BBS uh, called the Radioactive BBS, and
Don't
we
try to
even ran a
don't
website called nukethewhales.com.
don't fool the audience. You're not a Netscape GeoCities OG. You know that. You were
Oh,
sitting at You were
oh,
sitting no. You were playing Diablo 1 with dial up and then screaming at your mom every time she picked up the phone and you lost your connection, okay?
no. We were doing that well before Diablo 1. We were doing that with Doom 1.
Diablo 1, there you go.
Yeah, Diablo 1 had an internal infrastructure to facilitate that within the game. With Doom, you had to type commands including a list of phone numbers separated by a semicolon to get multiple players into a video game.
Yep.
It was intense. It was like it felt like actual coding. That was part of the thing about it is, just sitting
Yeah,
down and playing a video game in the '90s with your buddies online felt like, you know, it felt like programming. It wasn't a click, click, click. You had to know
yeah, it
specific
was
lines of code.
yeah, it was MS DOS prompt, okay?
Exactly.
And so basically if you don't remember C:// okay, to actually get your computer to do anything, then we're not on the same level, I'm afraid. It's been a different era. So, but yeah, older computers, even Windows 95, had way more my like manip- you could the user could manipulate the minutia way more, okay, than on a modern operating system, okay.
I mean, how many?
You actually had direct access to the controls, most of which is just automated at this point. So yeah, but by using a computer, the older you are and sooner you got into computers, the more you know, more you really understand at a core level how computers work. Okay, whereas modern zoomy zooms, turning on Mario's tears. Yeah, well, okay, we're not going to cry about it. We're gonna get revenge. All right,
We're gonna seed.
you busted in
Mario, how
time.
many free video games did we get by going to the public library? You get on the DOS prompt, you type /dir and just start reading .exes that sound like video games, and then going for just copying those to a 3.5 inch floppy.
Yeah. I didn't do that. I wasn't that much of a techie kid or what, but I hung out with people who were, and yeah, the basically you could just copy games right on a 3.5 inch floppy or the three, not 3.5, wasn't it 4.5 inch?
Quarter,
The
three
three
and
and
a
a
half.
half inch, whatever the hard shell ones. Okay, yeah, you could just
Yeah,
copy games on them and take them home and play
those are
them.
the 3.5.
Okay, your volumes went to shit, by the way.
Did it? Okay,
It
let
did.
me
At least on my end. I don't know about the
let
audience,
me
but I
try
can
another
barely hear you.
thing. How's that?
Not good. Yeah, Cam says
Well,
it's bad too. So Cam said it. It has to be true.
yeah, but after Cam said it, I switched.
There you go. Now it's getting better.
How about now?
Okay, now you're really loud. But yes, you've corrected whatever the problem was.
Okay. In that case,
Problem was different than what you led me to believe it is. This should correct the problem. How's that?
It's better. It's functional.
Sergeant Major says, Chris just explained why I despise video games. I would come in from 12 hours work and everyone was on a screen. Oh, you know, I'm going to give you just a little bit of pushback there, old man, because we didn't have a Nintendo until probably 88. And yeah, it was easy to come home from school and just flop down in front of some cartoons. But once we were living in Maine, I just wasn't home like ever. I'd come home from school and get my bicycle and go downtown with the boys and play Magic somewhere or go to work. But I do agree. Just everybody always on a screen is a problem. It is in fact one of the reasons I bought a house in the country and moved away from the metro, because when we're living in Conyers, I just didn't feel safe to let the kids just go play outside. Out here, they can go run and play in the woods, and all my kids are getting out and getting some fresh air quite a bit.
Sergeant Major, I got to be honest. If you think it was bad in the early '90s, have you been outside lately?
Yeah.
Nowadays, I mean, it used to be that people would park their children in front of the electric babysitter, okay, the television, all right, when they basically just occupy their kids so they could do, parents could do whatever they needed to do or wanted to do, right? It's far more insidious now with the tablets, okay, way more insidious because and plus you're teaching the children bad tech. Okay, the kids are not going to actually know how to use a computer if all they're using is a tablet. That's why Zoomers are struggling in the workforce. All right, that's why you hear stories of Zoomers in the workforce, and they're given a computer and they don't understand simple concepts like file directory. Okay, or you know what I mean? How basically the repository for files branches from a larger file, like a tree. They don't really understand the concept. Okay, basic shit like that. Like Windows Explorer would be like a level of seeing behind the curtain that they would be uncomfortable with, kind of like kids getting on an MS DOS based operating system with at first when we were teenagers. Okay, like, wow, this is overwhelming. I don't even understand what this stuff means, and you have to learn. Anyway, but yeah, 4chan was hacked, and we do have an article on that if you want to pull that up there, Chris.
Yeah, so
let's go over the facts
explain
real quick, and then I'll
real
talk
quick,
about
Mario,
what
kind of
4chan means. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, is the article good for the explanation, or you want to give the?
No, the article's good for what happened. I am good for what 4chan means.
So let's give the people, and you're better positioned to talk about this. You've done more with 4chan than I have. Kind of let the old guys know what 4chan is.
4chan's it's kind of a millennial thing, okay, more so than any other generation. Like you were perfectly saying at the beginning of the broadcast, it's the generation where half your life was prior to the digital age and the other half was after. Okay, the people who saw the internet as it was developing before it became like a corporate polished machine that it is today. Okay, back in the old days where there was a lot of people writing their own programs, creating their own like simple HTML websites. Okay, very basic stuff, text boards, like message boards, and image boards where you could just upload a JPEG, okay, or later on upload a GIF, okay. So very, very simple, primitive websites that have just remained. And 4chan has remained a very simple, primitive website. All right. Everyone on the website is anonymous. All right. So no one knows who is posting the information. So you have the safety and obscurity, safety of anonymity. All right. 4chan was at the time when I first got started on it in like 2006. All right. Up until today, now despite intrusions from glowies from time to time. Okay, I mean, if you get on there and start posting some severe Fed posting shit, yeah, it's going to get someone's attention. But for all intents and purposes, 4chan is like the last bastion of free speech on the internet. Okay, it's that one,
Now,
like, you can go on there and you can post. For example, back in, say, 2016, a lot of research was done on 4chan after the WikiLeaks drop. Okay, especially the Podesta emails when those were released. A lot of the it's basically like the feeding and sorting machine for whenever there's a big happening. Okay, the basically bulk information, bulk data drops get dumped, and then people start posting it on 4chan, and that's where you get that organic analysis. Okay, organic investigation that comes from just anonymous people online who are curious, and want access to information. So it is a community, really. I mean, in a sense, more so than other websites claim they're a community. Reddit can't say the same because Reddit is goes crazy with the bans. Okay, post anything, even right of center, and you can get banned off Reddit in a heartbeat. Whereas with 4chan, you can't. Well, you can only be banned by an administrator. All right, no one can lobby for you to get banned from the other users on there. All right, so um, it's like a lot of people liken it to Mos Eisley Cantina. Okay, where it's the most wretched hive of scum and villainy you'll find on the internet, and they might be right. 4chan really is. It's like the last stop on the ClearNet before you enter the darknet. Okay, it's that last station. All right, get off here or get yourself a Tor browser. Okay. Um, so, but yeah, it's a significant piece of internet history. People don't understand how many of the memes, all right, that have been circulated in the last 10 years originated from 4chan. The some of the conspiracy theories, right, the more important conspiracy theories of the last 10 years originated from 4chan. For example, like Pizzagate, all right. Um, People don't realize that, say, like QAnon, the whole psyop of QAnon. Uh, QAnon was meant to consolidate a bunch of conspiracies that are legitimate conspiracy theories that were originated off of 4chan, and to consolidate them in one psyop package where where QAnon himself is not real, to discredit all of the research that, like, a decade of anonymous users on 4chan, all that work that they put in. Okay, so QAnon would not exist without 4chan. All right. And
so and Mario, you mentioned that with the conspiracy theories. So that everybody's clear, we're not talking about wild, harebrained, unsupportable conspiracy theories. We're talking about legitimate,
legit conspiracy theories. Okay.
Yeah, but and it's because, at least in part, because one of the attributes of 4chan, like Mario mentioned, was the safety and anonymity. So you had people who were essentially legitimate whistleblowers,
Correct.
who
Would
had
go on
reasonable
4chan and
concern
make
for their
drops.
safety, and
Correct.
reasonable concern for their safety, and a healthy distrust of the government and the supposed safety guarantees that are afforded to whistleblowers with real complaints. And another thing that 4chan is famous for, we did a show on this several years ago. It may have been as far back as 2020. I did the top, I forget if it was the top 5 or the top 10 uses of weaponized autism from 4chan, and it was stuff like, there was the Berkeley bike law. It was 2020, because one of the cases of weaponized autism I pointed out was the Berkeley bike lock attacker, who was this leftist professor that went to the Berkeley riots wearing a mask and with a bike chain, and 4chan autists, some genius on 4chan, or rather some collective of them, tracked this guy through publicly available information, video, photos of events, and caught him with the mask off, figured out who he was, identified him, and this isn't exact. We're going to talk about doxing a little bit in a minute here too. This activity isn't exactly the same as what's meant by doxing, because in this case they doxed him to the police. They just, hey, coppers,
Correct.
here's the information. This is the guy that attempted to murder people over his political position. Go get him.
Yes, and law enforcement would drop information or basically make requests, all right, on 4chan, like basically, we need to find out who this guy is. All right, well, let's post what we have and let's consult Dr. Four, or let's consult Detective 4chan. All right.
Yeah, and these evil right wing lunatic domestic terrorists on white supremacists and the like on 4chan have a pretty good track record of identifying and sending the police after pedophiles, child traffickers, etc. And then, of course, there was the whole thing with Shia LaBeouf doing his secret happenings to protest the election of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Do what?
He will not divide us. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was they uncovered. He posted his flag at a secret location, all right, in France, and 4chan was able to determine exactly where it was based on cloud formations compared to Doppler radar. So yeah, it's 4chan is a great place to if you're looking for information, it's basically where the real geeks, all right, will sit there and basically dig and dig and dig and dig until they find an answer. And doxing, since at least 2013, there's been one particular board on 4chan, which is poll for politically incorrect, which has been decidedly right wing, all right, fluctuating from here and there, but it's not a shitlib site. Okay, the number one enemy is Reddit always, all right. And yeah, it's been relatively right wing, and 4chan bears a lot of responsibility also for getting Donald Trump elected. Okay, in 2016 for the meme war, the great 2015-2016 meme war that you may have heard of.
Oh yeah, Gamergate, Pepe, Wojak. That's all 4chan.
Gamergate, which was an event which basically politically awakened the entire Zoomer generation. All right, yes, that is 4chan. All right, so 4chan is kind of that glue, okay, in the network, right? The myelin sheath kind of holding the organ of the internet together. All right, behind the scenes that people generally don't know about. Okay, so the internet is going to be a lot more sterile, a lot more corporate, okay, and a lot more of a boring place now that 4chan is gone. The last thing that 4chan did that was of great note and of a great positive service to the public is 4chan unironically saved millions of lives during COVID, all right, by picking apart the bullshit that we were being told by the National Institute of Health and the CDC, okay. 4chan despised Dr. Fauci, basically went into the research they were conducting, revealed the truth about the Wuhan Institute of Virology being the leak site for the virus, okay? And also 4chan published 4chan users basically dug into what was going on with the COVID vaccine and the mRNA technology, okay? Used to make that so-called vaccine, which is more of a genetic modification medicine.
One of the first shows that BFM got chucked off of YouTube short term for was one where, like, Cameron and I didn't even say, we weren't even talking about, oh well, the vaccine's dangerous, there's injuries and can't trust this shit. We were legit just asking the question, hey, wait a minute. Okay, so there's gene manipulation, et cetera, et cetera. This isn't like injecting a live virus to teach your immune system to fight it. Does this qualify as a vaccine? Like, definitionally, categorically, this thing is different than what is meant by the word, which is called vaccine. It has a different definition. It doesn't meet the definition. And early on in that whole censorship saga, just asking the question, is it a vaccine, was completely shit on. But like Mario was talking about, it is not. And 4chan was one of the places where it wasn't just random weaponized autists. Some of these doctors who were out trying to blow the air horn and say, no, hey, medical degree here, I know my shit, and let me tell you something, when I say I know my shit, I can point at this vaccine and say, this is shit. We don't know anything about it. And those guys were kicked off, and 4chan was where some of them found a home.
So, yeah, so millions of lives were saved unironically by 4chan. Okay. And, thank you, Dr. Chud. All right. Those who know. It's part of the reason I didn't take it because I was getting so much information on 4chan about like basically the unknowns like you're talking about. Okay, basically picking those apart. Now, Bright Noah in the chat says that 4chan has become nothing but bots and slide threads in the last few years. Legit discussion has essentially been shut down. Yeah, I agree with you to a degree. It has been severely degraded, right, from what it used to be. That is 100% true, but there are occasionally diamonds that you find, all right, that you just have to sift through the trash, all right. Sift through enough garbage, you can find something relevant, all right, and that you wouldn't find anywhere else. So, despite all the bots, okay, despite all the people from countries that should be range banned by IP, say no more. Yeah, they should. It still has some validity. Okay, and it was a place where I enjoyed being. I enjoyed visiting on the internet every single day. If nothing more for the memories and hope that there'd be better times. But it looks like it's over. Now there are some variations on the same concept that are out there as well. I've poked around a couple of them, but it's just not the same. So yeah.
So we'll see Mario on X soon.
Yeah, now I have no choice but to get on Twitter now. Okay? Because Twitter is kind of like Poll was back in 2015, all right?
Oh man, that's cute. Did you guys hear that? He still calls it Twitter.
That's right. It's Twitter. I don't care.
You're turning into a boomer, Mario.
No, I'm a millennial. Only fucking Zoomers say X.
Proto millennial.
All right. So
4chan goes dark as alleged hacker attacks take down the site. Oh, so yeah.
All right. So U.S. users been unable to access 4chan since yesterday morning. All right. It was linked to a comprehensive hack. All right. So scroll down some. Okay. So up here, I'll just open it on my end. Never mind.
Okay. What are you looking for? The outage has been reported since the early hours of Tuesday with thousands of users.
The specifics of what happened here. So give me a moment. I should have had it reloaded. I've got it already. All right, so Cyber News researchers looked into hack claims and discovered unknown actors sharing lists with supposed 4chan moderator login credentials as well as overall platform mailing staff list. Okay, so someone hacked in, all right, and basically has all of the administrator and the Jannies, if you will, who are unpaid mods. All right, and they're all doxable with their real. Basically, they use their real email addresses to sign up for a moderator or Janny account with 4chan, which is, you probably should have had an email address specifically for that. But so those basically, yeah. So it was a mass doxing. Okay, is at the heart of it. So all these people who are Jannies deserve no mercy, of course. But for the website to function, yeah, it has to have its administrators not be subject to doxing attacks and under threat. Okay, or else it's not going to work. So seems like the attacker had shell access on the server, so this might not be all. The site itself is down right now. Also, the source code for the site was leaked. All right, so imagine like the store didn't just get robbed, where someone came in and basically cleared the shelves. All right, by the source code getting leaked, they literally stole the store, like brick by brick, dismantled it and carted it off. Okay, so if the source code information is released, that means the entire website is compromised from the ground up. Okay, in order to put it back online, it would have to be completely reconfigured. All right, which means that someone's going to have to buy it from there's a Japanese autist owns the website. Okay, and for the website to be revamped, okay, or be reborn, someone's probably going to have to buy it from him and inject capital into it, unless that Japanese guy Hiroshima is individually wealthy, which I doubt, or maybe he's just locked in his goon cave with his anime waifu pillows or something and doesn't give a shit. Who knows? Guy, no one knows who the guy is. All right. But yeah, so 100% total firehouse sale hack of the website. It's basically gone for all intents and purposes. All right. And quite possibly even the big concern is all the user data. Not that it really keeps any user data, but the thing is the Jannies and the mods have access to real IP addresses when you post. They see your actual IP. So depending on how much back data they got from the website, you now have basically it would be from my background, you now have an entire database that you could just do Boolean queries on and do associations, all right, and match people to IP addresses, match people's IPs to posts that they've made. So if you wanted to, if you were, say, a hardcore Israeli shill looking to uncover anti-Semitisms on the internet, having access to all this hacked information would be of great value to you. Okay, and it does concern me. I don't know if it's true or not. It does concern me that this is happening under Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has made some really disturbing statements as of late about basically what should be done with anti-Semites in the United States. Okay, it is Trump's Achilles heel. The fact that he is bought and paid for by the Israeli government. Okay.
Yeah, and
but,
you mentioned making the associations with the IP address and whatnot. We're talking about people who now have essentially a comprehensive database of somebody at the location designated by this IP address made this post.
yeah,
And that may be the only piece of information they have about you, except that we live in the world of the internet. 25 years ago, when I was doing title research, I learned that set of skills. I'm telling you, if I know your address, I don't need to know your name, phone number. If I just know your address,
yeah.
give me an hour, maybe an hour and a half.
Aaron
I'll have
Olson,
your
I'll get there.
name, I'll have your lineage, I'll have your tax records, I'll have
Yeah.
your social security
it can
number,
just be
your
stupid shit.
birthday.
And it can just be just dumb shit.
Yeah,
Okay,
just that little fingernail to get in the door, and I own all your information. And I mean, God, we're talking. I'm talking right now. I'm talking like 25 years ago. With that, I have your address.
Yeah,
I can go to the courthouse and with pen and paper, I can steal your property.
Yeah,
that's without the interconnected internet with the fingernail getting into the data.
From an electronic surveillance perspective, okay, if someone has your real IP, all right, that's the same as having your real, international mobile subscriber identification, like your IMSI on your phone. Okay, it means they've got you. They might as well have picked up your wallet. Okay, they might as well have your wallet. Okay, is what it means. All right, they have everything they need to know about you as far as your communications. Okay, so yep. Now, as we were saying, or Aaron Olson asks, who benefits from 4chan being destroyed? Okay,
no one good.
Israel benefits. Okay, Israel benefits. The Anti-Defamation League benefits. Brought to you by B'nai B'rith. Okay, yeah. So the usual suspects.
The Southern Poverty Law Center benefits. The Southern District of New York benefits. Yeah.
The usual suspects benefit. Okay. So yeah, but yeah. So a significant piece of internet history died yesterday. Something that is, for as shitty as it is and as intentionally shitty as it is in fact irreplaceable. Okay, so kind of an end of the era, and probably the last.
It's like burning down the library at Alexandria, except it was full of pornography and political commentary.
It's burning down the Library of Alexandria, okay, except a lot of the scrolls lost, if you unraveled them, was just somebody posting the N-word 150 times in a block text, okay, and hitting enter, all right, which, as far as I'm concerned, is valid internet discourse, all right. Sometimes that is the correct answer, all right. But yeah, like, what are you going to do now? Now, if all the IP addresses of people posting, okay, if that's all associated now with whatever post they made, basically killing the idea that it was anonymous, right? Imagine you go to a job interview, all right, and then they just do basic research or machine-based research, you know what I mean, where it's like my life or whatever, like type in the person's name, pay for the subscription, hit enter, and it will give you some random applicants, right, his basically his backstory, everywhere he's lived and like the jobs that he's had and etc., right. That stuff exists. Stuff that used to only be for special investigators, that exists now for the general public. The general public is always getting technology that was classified 10 years ago. Okay, it's
Yeah,
constantly
here,
being
let me really prove Mario's point here. This is Chat GPT, right?
like so. Mr. Anderson, you posted on 4chan's poll 2 years ago that N words tongue my anus. What did you mean by that, sir? Like, how are you supposed to respond to that in a job interview? Like, F N words, F trannies, F
So
Jews. Sir, can you
here's a
please
shitload of
explain?
Christopher
Can you
Lowry's, and
explain
then it's
that?
going to ask me which one I want, and it'll go ham, right?
What'd you say?
Oh, I was making the point about about what you were saying about, there will be a search engine. Yeah, it's Chat GPT, right?
Yeah.
There it is. It's homeschooling, homesteading, Second Amendment defending patriot with a taste for corned beef, a backlog of
Oh yeah.
ground beef, and a Blackstone griddle. Oh shit. And that's
Yeah.
just basic level shit without trying to deep dive and look for locations and doxing data.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the open source identity search tools, right, that exist on that you could pay for a subscription for, where basically it pulls all your previous addresses, previous work history, and your voting records, of course. That's a fun one.
Yeah.
That's a fun way to dig into someone's identity, as voting records are published, which I guess is that a good thing? Why do we do that? Isn't that just historical precedent? Who knows? I don't care. But anyway, I voted for Trump 3 times. If you want to kill me, come get me. I don't care. We'll do this. Anyway, but yeah, so that's it for 4chan. I don't think it's going to be back. And if it is back, it's going to be under new ownership, which means that
And it will be highly suspicious.
Exactly, like no one's going to want to go back to it. Now it's
Right.
basically it's even more considered more of a federal honeypot, than it was jokingly, casually, or ironically referred to as before. Okay, so yeah, the Wild West. That's the last. That's basically that's it for the era that was the Wild West of the internet that Chris Lowry and I grew up in. Okay.
Yeah, we've just industrialized
Fucking gone.
California. Fuck the gold
It's
rush.
gone.
It's over.
Yep, it's gone. So enjoy your sterile corporate internet, where 25 million search results is actually only the same 15 results again, like listed back to back. So enjoy your new sterile internet.
Yep. All right, guys.
Don't call it a grave. It's the future you chose. Okay.
Bit of a downer show this morning, but
hell yeah, it's a downer.
It is what it is. Hell yeah, it's a downer. And
I'm homeless on the internet. Okay, I need a home, and it ain't fucking Reddit. I'll tell you that.
No, it is not. No, you know what? It is BFM. It's right here. So y'all, thanks for watching this morning, guys. Y'all be safe out there. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.
Ciao.
Stream and listen and
derpity derp.
Figure out what's going on with the microphone.
Derp.